So I believe most of us remember Madam Akua Denteh, the 90-year-old woman whose life was snatched from her in the community called Kafaba in the East Gonja municipality of the Savannah region. This incident, horrendous incident, which happened in 2020, was a wake-up call for authorities to realize that there was a need to put together a legislation that would protect other old vulnerable women so they don't end up like Madam Akua Denteh. Fast forward 27 July 2023, the Anti Witchcraft Bill has been passed. This bill is to criminalize the accusation of witchcraft or the labeling of someone as a witch. My name is Raya Ali Dumalititi. This is another episode of Let's Learn the Law, and today we are looking at the Anti Witchcraft Bill. Come along. So like I said, in 2020, we all heard the horrendous and dastardly acts of some people in the Kafaba community who lynched Madam Akua Denteh, a 90-year-old vulnerable woman. Why? Because they believed she was a witch. Yes, this incident of Madam Akua Denteh was not the first. Before her, there were other people, other vulnerable women who were subjected to the same fate. Luckily, authorities realized that there was the need to put a stop to this once and for all. After this dastardly act, an institute called the Sane Institute officially petitioned the House of Parliament on August 4, 2020 to put together legislation to criminalize witchcraft accusations. Okay, so the Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Susu, he took the matter up, and plus some other members of Parliament, of course, they presented the private members bill to Parliament, and fast forward, it is now Anti-Witchcraft Bill. Now it's part of the Criminal Offences Act of 1960, Act 29, which means that if you label someone as a witch, if you as much as call someone a witch, you can go to jail. That's simply what it means. So let's be guarded and let's be circumspect. Now, this witchcraft thing has been going on for years in the northern areas of the country. Even somewhere in the south, you would hear people called older women witches because they are old and look weak and vulnerable. So suddenly they become witches who see things. And mind you, when you get old, there are a lot of sicknesses you could suffer, like dementia, like Parkinson. So sometimes the persons exhibit certain traits that make people label them because the person is acting weird. Okay, so the person suddenly is a witch. And I keep saying witch because mostly it's women who suffer this fate. Okay, so over 90% of the people at the witches camp per research are women. That's why I keep using witch. But it doesn't matter whether the person you label is a woman or a man. If it's found out, you would be made to face the full rigors of the law because it's criminal to call someone a witch or a wizard for that matter. This accusation of witchcraft is undoubtedly detrimental to the protection of our human rights because it tramples upon a lot of the tenets of international human rights that Ghana has ratified, like the Universal Declaration on Human Rights, Convention Against Torture and Other Cruel and Inhumane Degrading Treatment, and other conventions that protect the rights of women, like CEDAW. Now, let's not forget that even the Constitution of Ghana also speaks against subjecting people to degrading and inhumane treatment, whether physical, mental, emotional, call it what. When we discussed our fundamental human rights, we said there was the need for the protection of rights of everybody. No person should be subjected to degrading and inhumane treatment, if you remember. Okay, so the accusation of witchcraft tramples on the rights or infringes on people's rights in this regard. Why? Because aside the fact that these women are subjected to physical assault, they are taken away from their family members, they are ostracized in the community, and all this hinders their positive mental health. Aside that, this accusation of witchcraft endangers social cohesion and it creates needless orphans because people are taken to the social camps and the children are left to fend for themselves. Imagine if this woman is taking care of her grandchildren and all of a sudden, because she's exhibiting certain behavior, she's labeled a witch. She's taken to the witches' camp. Now the children are left on their own to fend for themselves. Because how many of these women who have taken this woman to the camp will look back and take care of the children, ensure the welfare and well-being of these kids? How many people will do that? So yes, it renders people orphans unnecessarily. An evidence-based research conducted by an NGO called Somtaba which is championing the welfare of the rights of women in the northern sector, says that over half of the women living in the camps were experiencing depression, and about 97 of them have a low quality of life. That's from Songtaba. Executive Director of Songtaba, Madam Lamnatu Adam, says, quote, "We cannot afford to fail the vulnerable women in our communities who should be free to grow old with dignity since we owe a duty to protect them." End of quote. This shouldn't be happening in 21st century Ghana. Many are those who have lauded the parliament for bringing to fruition this anti-witchcraft bill. However, there are others who have raised concerns, like Reverend John Azuma, who is concerned about the number of years culprits are jailed. Now, you could spend from 1 to 5 years in jail when you're caught labeling someone a witch, or if you call yourself a witch finder, or you fall into that category, And Reverend Azuma believes this is too lenient, because the thing is that when you label someone a witch, you have sort of taken their lives away from them. Now the tag is on them forever. Sometimes it affects their children and their children's children and generations unborn. So it's a big tag. So he believes that, plus some others who have shared similar concerns, believe that the 5 years should be changed. It should be more than 5 years. Now, mind you, even if you're going to go to jail for a month, it's no joke. So the next time you feel like calling one old woman, whether your grandmother or anybody in your neighborhood, a witch because the person is exhibiting certain traits you find weird, think about this. Okay, we had an engagement with Madam Lamnatu Adam, the Executive Director of Somtaba, and she's agreed to share a few words with us.
Hello, my name is Lamnatu Adam, and I work for Somtaba as the Executive Director. Somtaba is a women's rights advocacy organization that seeks to work with underserved population towards the protection of their rights. The Anti Witchcraft Bill has recently been passed by Parliament, and that gives us a motive enough to criminalize issues of naming, accusations of older women or otherwise any other person as witches. Anybody who indulges in such accusation will be culpable. We therefore urge, especially our youth, to take notice that older women or older men need our love. We should not treat them in undignified manner.
All right, so thank you, Madam Lamnatu. This is where we'll draw the curtain today. But before I go, pointers for today. Being old, poor, and weak does not make someone a witch and should not be a license to subject someone to inhumane treatment. Everybody's dignity and welfare matters, including older people. And just as you want your rights to be upheld and respected, ensure you do same for others. My name is Raya Ali Dumaliti. Subscribe if you haven't done so yet, and like and share this so we can all benefit from this. Leave your comment at the comment section. We'll greatly appreciate that. Okay, I'll be back again next time, but till then, the next time you see an older person, man or woman, being subjected to an inhuman or degrading treatment, remember you have the responsibility as a human being to ensure the right thing is done. See you next time. Till then, stay out of trouble. Bye.